Nagas. Also referred to as the reptoids, reptiloids, reptans, Homosaurus, lizard men, or the large-nosed greys. They play a significant role in the legends of India and Tibet, where they are considered by some Tibetan monarchical residents of a subterranean realm. They are described as being around 7 to 8 feet tall and of various colors, grotesque, but most often moldy greenish with scaled crocodilian skin. After a reputed battle in ancient times, between a pre-Scandinavian race from the Gobi region, and a reptiloid race based in Antarctica, the reptilians allegedly lost the battle for domination of the surface world, and were driven into underground networks in which they eventually developed aerial and space technology. The Nagas are said to have appeared at the birth of Gautama Siddhartha, who later became Buddha. B. The ancient well of Sheshana in Benares, India, is traditionally where the yoga aphorisms of Patanjali, a classical guide to students of yoga, was written. This well is said to be an entrance to one of the Nagas' underworld lairs. Nordics. Blonde, blue-eyed, angular faces. Although Nordics are humanoid and externally almost identical to humans, there are subtle differences in the Nordic alien physiology. Most of them are based on the living conditions. Their planets are extremely hot and dry, and have a low oxygen content in the atmosphere. They have a larger lung capacity than humans, and have a copper-based blood, in order to carry oxygen more efficiently. The eyes are protected by inner lids, and can allow them to see into the ultraviolet range of the spectrum. They have only 28 teeth, as they lack a back pair of molars. Their heads are longer than humans. Negamak, aka Nomopo. First known visit to Earth happened only in 1989. They abduct humans and exercise control over the minds of their captives, which they use for their own benefit, after the captives' release. Reason, unknown. They are also one of the oldest races. This is the race that most human governments fear, when considering the future of humans. This race was the inspiration for the alien race in the movie Independence Day. Note from Petro and me. The ARB states the same thing about another race. The Orange. These entities largely converge beneath southern Nevada, northern New Mexico and possibly Utah. Some sources refer to 1. A human race with stalky yellow, red or orange hair, others of 2. A genetically altered, humanoid reptiloid strain or hybrid. They are often described as having a humanoid form, yet certain reptilian genetic features. They are also said to possess human-like reproductive organs, and possibly, or not, a human soul matrix, and therefore a divergent branch of the human race, or reptiloid race depending on which type of orange one is referring to. As some accounts suggest, there may also be 3. Orange-colored reptilians which possess no soul matrix. Refer to hybrids and hybrids. Some of the orange allegedly have connections to Bernard's star. These may also be the native Mirians, Sitka or red giants. In 1911, miners were digging out layers of bat guano from a cave, located about 22 miles southwest of Lovelock, Nevada, when they came upon the mummified remains, which would have stood 6½ feet tall alive. The mummy was still crowned with distinctly red hair. The ancient legends of the local Paiute Indians described a race of red-haired giants, who were the enemies of many Indian tribes of the region. The Pleiadians. They come from solar systems surrounding the Pleiadiized stars, more precisely from the planet Terra, near the star Taygeta. They are associated with spiritual growth. They can grow up to 2.5 meters, 8 feet. They practice sex cultivation, the distinct difference between their sexual expressions and their sensual emotions. Their ships are known as beam ships. Although regularly visiting Earth, they have remained mostly silent since 10,000 BC. They are one of the oldest known races. They continue to develop the necessary mental skills to eventually reach their goal, higher spiritual state. Puritafilemu, aka Nosif 7. Their origin is unknown. They are often sighted in the northwest of USA, especially in the Oregon area. They have a special interest about Earth's oceans, and are known to have underwater ships. They are peaceful and mostly nocturnal. Last sighted in the year of 2000, near San Francisco, USA. Rak. Of the 58 races described in the book ARB, this is the race that least visited Earth, that we know of so far, only 5 times. They visited the area we know as the Middle East, and that created the belief in the jinn, or genies, in Islamic mythology. According to some Muslim scholars, they inhabit an unseen world, in a dimension beyond the existing dimensions of our universe. According to reports from other alien races, they stopped visiting Earth because their immune system could not cope with Earth's fauna and flora. Last recorded visit, 712 AD. Romay. They come from Capella, constellation or Iga, known to be a very peaceful race. They tried to coexist with humans. They created the Mayan civilization, culture, by placing humans from different places on Earth, in South America. They are a race of scientists. They taught the Mayans about astronomy and time. They left Earth when the Mayans were at their highest splendor. After that, the Mayans started their well-known blood sacrifices, in honor of Romay. Last sighting, Bora Bora in 2001. Smad. They come from planet Folk, constellation Bat-Taray. Their ships have a conial shape. They resemble humans in appearance. According to one alien race, they have only 6 ships left. They colonized 20 planets, 18 of them were inhabited. First visit to Earth happened 2,500 years ago. They are very interested in our religious beliefs. They are a race in decline, weakening, according to other races. Strom. They come from constellation Ursa Minor. Stroms are invertebrates and coelenterates. Their average height is 2 meters. Vegetation is of great importance to their culture, and main reason for their visits to Earth. They have been on Earth at least 200 times. They act with extreme caution, and are rarely seen by humans. First visited Earth at the end of the last big ice age. They have 20 colonies in the Via Lactea galaxy. Their ships have the shape of an octagon. Last sighting, October 1976 in Oregon, USA. Syrians, or Sa.am. The Syrians were seeded, and evolved much later than the Aryans. It's a significantly younger star race, but much older than mankind. In their basic biokind, they are apparently a wolf, reptilian species, but also with cat-like features. Both females and males have golden brown, dark, or red manes. Their ancestors, from whom this star race was genetically engineered, were wolf-cat-like creatures, which seem to have been a blend between a dog, wolf, a cat, and a reptile. This is where we get the name Dog Star for Sirius, from, the word dog stemming from the Aryan word dak, pronounced similar to the German word dock. Our ancestors were well aware of the origins of these star visitors, and where they came from. We can sometimes get a hint of how they looked like in the Sumerian tablets as well, although the bodies they used here on Earth, and still do, are not really their original bodies, but were genetically manipulated and cloned to blend in better with the human societies of the time. Taris. Their origin is unknown. They are often seen near, or flying by volcanoes. Identified due to the exquisite nature of their ships. They have never contacted humans, and there are no reports of violence or abductions. Even though they are discreet in their presence on Earth, they do not try to hide from view. There are several contradictory reports about their appearance. Last sighted, off the coast of Norway, in 2000. TSAR 3. Their origin is unknown. There are reports stating that it takes them near to Earth years to get to this planet. They are the survivors of an extinct reptoid race, and do not possess the same level of technology and knowledge as other races visiting the Earth. They have some human characteristics, such as skin. In 1977-78, near Siena, Italy, 2 of their species were captured, after landing behind a church in ruins. 3 days later they were transferred to a US air base still in Italy, and finally taken to an undisclosed location where, supposedly, they still remain. Contacts have mentioned somewhere in the South Pacific, or in another US base near Japan. The USSR Apis-3 was able to get hold of one video recording of this species. Last sighting, January 3, 2001, near Victoria, Canada. Tengri Tengri. They come from planet Tengri, Galactic Sector 56, Star System F1342. They live underground and have a population of 10 million. First visit to Earth, 10,000 years ago. They do not need an atmosphere or water to survive. They have one ship that can accommodate 5 million of their kind. They have had contact with human governments throughout history. Last known sighting, near Buenos Aires, Argentina, 2003. Tanzania. They come from constellation Perseus, near the star Gorgonia Secunda. They can live up to 500 years and are around 1.7 meters tall. Technologically they are extremely advanced. They have caused thousands, maybe millions of deaths on Earth and other planets, as one of their interests, or area of study, to see how other races react to tragedies and catalysts. One alien race reported that they, the Tanzania, caused both crashing of the Hindenburg, as well as the sinking of Titanic. They are avoided by other races. Last sighting, January 1999, in New York. Talosian. Tall, blonde inhabitants of a re-established network of subsurface antediluvian colonies located throughout the western states, and concentrated around Mount Shasta in Northern California. They are sometimes referred to erroneously as Lemurians, as it is believed that the cavern cities which they rediscovered and built upon were once part of an antediluvian civilization called Lemuria, Elam Mu. They may have loose contact with the Pleiadians, and other groups via ancient ancestral ties, since the Telosians are Earth natives who allegedly possess interstellar vehicles, and are a western branch of the sub-international Agati network and its Silver Fleet. The name Telos is a Greek word meaning uttermost or purpose, yet some of the inhabitants refer to ancient ties with Neo-Mayan tribes, and therefore many of them may possess a Greco-Mayan ancestry. Some ancient Vedic texts speak of a collaboration between the Greeks and the East Indians, who some believe gave rise to the Mayas, in the development and construction of aerial craft called Vimanas. Telosians are part of a Melchizedek spiritual order with connections to the Ashtar collective mind, and have dealings with extraterrestrials in Arcturus, Sirius, and Saturn, as well as with other dimensional beings. The Teros. Teros, which is short from integrative or constructive, are a subsurface race that usually keep the Deros in check. The Teros were the original tribe of the Lunarians, who came to this planet to dwell beneath the surface of the Earth. They are referred to as the Sunainans, meaning the yearly ones. The Deros were for disagreeable people, and the Teros were for agreeable people. Their chief is named Lamza. The Teros came from the planet Joman, in the star constellation Arcturus, which is in the Bootes constellation. Arcturus, the red giant, the fourth brightest star in heaven, is where much mixing took place. The Sunainans have 48 chromosomes instead of the normal 46 that Earth people possess. The Teros chromosome structure is so different from Earthlings, that when mixed with certain humans, it caused a defect of 47 chromosomes, which today is called Down's syndrome. Their children are usually born with breathing defects, as well as congenital heart disease, and they also have poor digestive systems. Their immune system is unable to function properly, and they are more apartment to developing leukemia. The Teros that have an abundance of pigmentation in their skin are descendants of the Shuyuk. Those who are lacking pigmentation are descendants of the Halobeans, Flagellarods or Hulub. The Teros bored further into the Earth, and were able to keep their sanity. Because of crossbreeding, the Teros took on different forms. Some look so human they can come to the surface and not be noticed. Most of the legends of leprechauns and trolls derive from this species. The Umites. Humans claiming to hail from the general area of Wolf 424, some 14+ light-years distant from the Earth-Sol system, and possibly having ancient ties with the Lyran colonies in that the Umites from the planet Ummo are like the Lyrans Pleiadians said to be Scandinavian in appearance, and therefore may tie in with the so-called Nordic or Blonde societies. They reportedly work closely with the vegan humanoids. Vegans. Relatively peaceful and gentle humans, descended from refugees from the Lyran Wars, who work closely with other refugee colonists, now living in the Pleiades, Wolf 424, and elsewhere. Often described as dark-skinned Orientals, similar to the native residents of the nation of India. Vega was one of the first Lyran civilizations to develop a unique and cohesive identity, which assisted in seeding and colonizing many systems, including Altair, Centauri, Sirius and Orion. Physical characteristics of the vegans. A. Standard vegan, 6 to 7 feet tall, darker skin, sometimes copper-toned, non-Caucasian, black hair, very large eyes with dark pupil and iris, and one lid. Blood is green. B. Non-human type vegans, humanoid or mammal, yet their appearance is more insect-like or reptilian. Their skin is dark, sometimes even with a green or brownish tinge. Venusians. There are many stories about inhabitants of Venus. Surface colonies allegedly exist in biodome cities, whereas still other reportedly live in the antimatter counterpart of Venus, which in the alternate universe is part of a 12-planet alliance, called the Cold Asian Alliance according to some contactees. The Pleiadians also claim to have colonized the antimatter universe, which they call the Dull Universe. One of these races that are said to live on Venus are the Hatha, mentioned by Bob Frisell. They are a fourth-dimensional race. Another race of Venusian origin is mentioned by Dr. Daniel Fry, in the White Sands incident. The Norse are said to be an etheric higher-dimensional race. When they choose to take physical shape, they look like Earth's Nordic races. They supposedly are one of the eldest races in our solar system, and are members of the Galactic Council. The Norse no longer inhabit Venus. Vinivari. They come from constellation Pavo, and are vegetarians. They are a very respected and peaceful race, presumably with mystical powers. They have come to Earth at least since 1000 AD. They can live up to 2,000 years. Their height is similar to that of a normal human. Last sighting, near Odessa, Ukraine in July of 1995. Zeta Reticuli, aka Shambhala. Often confused, because of their appearance, with the races Matra and Solipsirae, the Greys. They come from constellation nets. They are allies of the Anunnaki, and cooperate with them on different planets. They are representatives of the Anunnaki on Earth, and send them information about humans and this planet, at least 25 times per year. The Anunnaki created a subspecies of the Zeta, with the purpose of making them look more human-like, but leaving enough physical differences for humans to distinguish them. They became some of the pharaohs of Egypt. The most well-known was Akhenaten, who was removed from power by reptilians. They infiltrated themselves in the court as temple priests. First reports of Zetas on Earth go back to 4000 AD. But that number is most likely higher. They were the first hybrids to be engineered by the Anunnaki. The Zeta subspecies still exist on Earth, and still, at least 30% present the same physical differences created in them. The sexual organs of the subspecies are in every aspect the same as that of humans. Their Zetas still exist on Earth in both forms, the original and the hybrid subspecies. Their location on Earth is unknown.
Can you feel it? A sort of anticipation growing stronger and stronger? Another way of putting it is time is speeding up. I've heard that discussion for a while now. I know most people have felt it at some point, maybe while watching the news or perhaps something in their own lives. Something big is about to happen.
We are 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America. The way Bush has done it over the last 8 years, added $4 trillion by his lonesome, that's irresponsible. It's unpatriotic.